This is the 17th video in a series of 17 videos exploring the book, The Power of Discipline: How to Use Self-Control and Mental Toughness to Achieve Your Goals, by Daniel Walter. In this video, we'll discuss Chapter 17, How to Avoid Burnout. Burnout is one of the greatest causes of silent failure in adult life. After 40, it doesn't come only as physical fatigue, but as an emotional and mental weight that drains your desire to keep trying. It's that moment when you feel you've done everything you could, yet nothing changes. And the worst part, you start believing that you are the problem, but you're not. Daniel Walter explains that burnout is the price we pay when self-discipline is used without wisdom. It's when focus turns into rigidity and commitment turns into self-punishment. Many mature people who are striving for prosperity, especially those rebuilding their finances, fall into this cycle. They work hard, make plans, push themselves relentlessly, and one day they simply shut down. It feels as if the mind freezes, motivation disappears, and what once was purpose becomes a burden. But the author reminds us, the problem isn't the work itself, it's how we think about it. What destroys us is not the load, but the perception that the load is unbearable. That's why Walter proposes an essential reflection for anyone rebuilding their financial life. Prosperity requires energy, and energy is a limited resource. If you don't recharge, the system collapses. Prosperity doesn't happen in a rush. It happens through consistency. And consistency only exists where there is balance. Think about it. How many times have you started something with enthusiasm and after a few weeks found yourself exhausted, unmotivated, and ready to quit? That's not a lack of discipline. That's a lack of conscious rest. A mature mind needs pauses, not surrender. Walter uses an interesting metaphor. Even members of the Special Forces and Shaolin monks understand that body and mind need rest to sustain excellence. They train hard, yes, but they also respect the recovery period, because they know that strength without rest turns into weakness. And here lies a profound lesson for anyone seeking to prosper after 40. Financial discipline isn't only about cutting expenses, saving, and investing. It's also about preserving your emotional and mental energy. Money is an expression of your vitality. If you're exhausted, disorganized, or discouraged, the flow of prosperity stops. Walter explains that burnout begins when you disconnect from the joy of what you do, when work stops being creation and becomes obligation, when effort loses its meaning. And this happens often to mature adults carrying heavy responsibilities: bills, children, debts, delayed dreams, frustrations. The body can endure for a while, but the mind eventually starts charging emotional interest. So the secret is not to do less. It's to do things with more awareness, to turn duty into purpose, to recognize that every action, no matter how small, is moving you toward a more prosperous future. But for that to happen, you must take care of your internal fuel. And the fuel of prosperity is vital energy. It comes from rest, from quality sleep, from good food, from deep breathing, from strategic pauses, and above all, from gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Because a grateful mind can rest even while it works. One of the most important lessons in this chapter is the invitation to learn how to say no. Walter explains that setting limits is a higher form of self-discipline. Many people think that being disciplined means doing everything, all the time, but true power lies in knowing where to invest your energy. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to what would truly lead you to prosperity. And after 40, time and energy are your most valuable assets. You can't afford to waste them on tasks that drain your vitality and don't bring you closer to your purpose. Another essential point is planning. The author recommends that before starting any project, you calculate the time and energy it will require and add a realistic margin. This applies both to your work and to your financial goals. Do you want to get out of debt? Start a new business? Invest wisely? All of that requires time, patience, and rhythm. Plan. Give yourself space to breathe between one goal and the next, because prosperity is a marathon, not a 100-meter sprint. And what if you're already burned out? If you feel you've gone past your limit? Walter's answer is simple and wise. Stop. Just stop. Not out of weakness, but out of intelligence. A tired body doesn't produce, an exhausted mind doesn't create, and a saturated heart can't feel gratitude. And without gratitude, prosperity cannot bloom. He says, if you had broken an arm, you would take time off to recover. So why not do the same for your mind? That sentence is powerful. The wounded mind also needs rest, silence, and stillness. And the sooner you allow yourself that, the faster your clarity and motivation will return. During the recovery process, it's important to reflect on what brought you to that point. Burnout is a messenger, not an enemy. It shows you where you've crossed your own limits. It reveals the imbalance between what you give and what you allow yourself to receive, and most of the time, it appears when you forget yourself while trying to fix everything for everyone else. Walter teaches something fundamental. There is no prosperity without self-care. Taking care of yourself is not selfishness. It's emotional financial intelligence. Because the more you exhaust yourself, the less creative and decisive power you have. And to prosper, you need lucid decisions, not impulsive ones. Those who are tired tend to make mistakes, spend poorly, and give up too soon. That's why, when Daniel Walter talks about burnout, he's also talking about prosperity. He's reminding us that wealth isn't only about having, it's about sustaining. Sustaining energy, focus, peace, clarity, and purpose. And that's only possible when you learn to manage your time and your emotions with the same seriousness with which you manage your money. Think about it. Rest is an investment. Every well-slept hour, every pause to breathe, every moment of silence is a deposit into your productivity account. And the more balanced that account is, the more prosperity you attract. Finally, Walter invites us to master one of the most valuable skills of adult life: the balance between protecting your mental health and challenging yourself to grow. Neither getting too comfortable nor pushing too hard. Prosperity lives in the middle, that point where you strive with love, but without self-violence, where you work with intensity, but sleep in peace, where you pursue success, but without losing serenity. After 40, prosperity isn't about running faster. It's about walking consciously. It's about understanding that discipline without rest becomes torture, and rest without purpose becomes escape. The secret is to alternate between effort and rest, doing and being, achieving and appreciating. So if you feel you're on the edge of exhaustion, don't see it as failure. See it as a call for realignment. Maybe life is simply telling you, take a moment to breathe and come back stronger. Because prosperity isn't about running until you collapse. It's about knowing how to keep the rhythm until the end of the journey. Did you like this video? Then you know what to do. Hit like, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe. Remember, this content is just the beginning. In the link below, in the comments, you'll find something special to keep growing.